The Galactic Council meeting chamber had never been so quiet. 50 advanced species from across the universe sat in apprehensive silence, staring at the hollow display that showed the Vex-Carry warships approaching our outer colonies. Grand Ambassador Zeloth broke the tension with sarcasm. Well, this is just wonderful. 10,000 years of peace, and we are about to be wiped out by space locusts. I, Trizax of the Quillian Federation, felt a chill run down my spine. The Vex-Carry weren't just any threat. They consumed everything in their path. Prime Counselor Norix called for updates on our military capabilities. Ambassador Zura stood, her glow betraying her stress. We've lost 83% of our capital ships, she reported. We have less than a 12% chance of stopping their main fleet. A hollow laugh from Ambassador Plex cut through the room, reminiscing about the times we worried over trade tariffs instead of imminent annihilation. But Ambassador Krex demanded solutions, striking a serious note amidst our chaos. As the debate unfolded, it became painfully clear we were grasping at straws. The Bel Tauran proposed negotiations, while the Jurgen Collective suggested hiding in pocket dimensions. The Zolarans did even worse, proposing a supervirus against entities that weren't even biological. In that moment of despair, Ambassador Etna finally spoke up. We could ask the humans for help. The chamber erupted into chaos at her suggestion. Humans? The quarantine species deemed too dangerous all those years ago. Half the council erupted in outrage, while the other half clamored for more information. Ambassador Krex shouted about the insanity of relying on a species we had isolated for so long. Others argued passionately, debating whether humans, known for their violent history, could help us against the Vex-Carry. But a shift occurred when Ambassador Zil noted, what if they envision a threat to their very existence? A sobering silence fell over the chamber. As tensions rose, I recalled the data on humans. Their history was one of rapid advancement and catastrophic chaos. In just 66 years, they transitioned from powered flight to lunar landing. Yet, they also produced art and literature that resonated deeply across species. They were a contradiction, beautifully flawed and dangerously unpredictable. The weight of their potential became a palpable strain within the room. Prime Counselor Norix considered the implications. Perhaps what we need right now is dangerous. I was assigned to the delegation to meet with the humans, a choice made out of necessity rather than expertise. Our ship arrived at the edge of the solar system, passing the warning beacons we had put up to keep them at bay. I couldn't help but feel irony wash over me as Captain Lorax acknowledged the absurdity of our situation. Upon reaching Mars, we received a surprising transmission in flawless galactic standard. A human appeared on our screen, Director Maya Quinn, who greeted us with a calm assurance. We've been expecting you. My heart raced at her words. Somehow, they had known about us for decades despite our quarantine. Director Quinn explained that they had been listening and watching us all along, rendering our attempts at secrecy futile. Arriving at the Mars Colonial Defense Headquarters, I was shocked by the number of humans present. Their curiosity was evident as they guided us to a conference room where further introductions were made. In a grim turn, Ambassador Kizizan laid out our dire circumstances. The humans listened with what seemed like interest rather than fear. Director Quinn's response was clear. You've come to ask for our help in fighting an enemy your combined forces cannot defeat. Of course, we will help. The relief of finding allies filled the room, but I couldn't shake my apprehensions. Dr. Layla Jackson, a human representative, challenged our past fears of their species. You quarantined us because you were terrified of us, she said, revealing an unexpected honesty. But she added, we love a good redemption story, especially when we get to be the heroes. My chest tightened as I recognized the gravity of her words. In a matter of hours, human ships were mobilizing. Not just military crafts, but civilian vessels too. General Ibuki explained, we can outpace the Vex-Carry in resource consumption. I sensed their determination. The humans thrived on challenges, exhibiting a fiery enthusiasm that contrasted sharply with the fear that gripped our council during earlier discussions. As the human fleet advanced into Vex territory, I observed their approaches to warfare and strategy. While our council took days to organize, their response time was almost instantaneous. Admiral Reyes explained their dynamics of conflict. We may be chaotic, but we act while we argue and make decisions in real time. It was a new perspective I had never encountered before, one that embraced unpredictability as an asset. The ensuing battle transformed the nature of conflict itself. Their tactics were unconventional but effective. Rather than forming a typical defensive line, they engaged in a bizarre dance around the Vex fleet, drawing them into disarray. Suddenly, it became clear we had allies who would challenge every norm of warfare established across our civilizations. During the climactic confrontation, the humans repurposed the Vex's own matter against them, creating missiles from their opponents' resources. It was brilliantly poetic, and as I watched this unfold, a sense of awe washed over me. The humans had turned a consumption machine into their own weapons, recycling the very threat that aimed to destroy us. We stood on the brink of war, witnessing a revolution in tactical warfare. When the battle was won, I stood beside Director Quinn again, grappling with the lessons we had stumbled upon. There is more to humanity than their past, she reminded me. They have endured, adapted, and evolved through centuries of crises. This Vex carry threat was just one more interesting situation. It struck me then, we had not just avoided extinction, we had witnessed an evolution of how species can survive together amidst uncertainty. Weeks later, before the Galactic Council, I stood alongside Ambassador Ali as he spoke of holding humanity accountable in the galactic community. The applause that flooded the hall was genuine and transformative. The quarantine had been formally lifted. We had crossed a threshold together, a promise symbolizing not just survival but collaboration. In my final moments reflecting, as our shuttle sailed toward Earth and the warning beacons faded, I couldn't help but feel hope. We had gained allies in unexpected places and acknowledged that sometimes the most dangerous species could also be the most invaluable. Humanity had forged a path toward cooperation, transcending fear. Together, we were ready to face what lay ahead, as equals in the cosmos.